What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Maple Dilly-Daily number 2. The daily video series of me doing my Maple Story dailies. For now, it could change to something else eventually, but I will say it's a little early. I mean, it's not early in the morning. It's like 10 o'clock, but on a Saturday, usually I'm still asleep for a little bit longer. So I'm a little tired, but I think it's important to get... I'm trying to wean myself off of, like, waking up later on the weekends. I want to be like an early riser. I'm already starting to go to sleep earlier during the week, and that's mostly thanks to like a combination of going to the gym regularly and actually listening to my body and not forcing myself to stay awake browsing social media. Excuse me. And just longer work days. So I think as I continue to do that, it's going to help me out. Like, I think it's just going to pay dividends. Because it's nice to be able to wake up on a Saturday. I kind of did it yesterday, too, because I'm off on Fridays. But you wake up on the weekend, get yourself situated, and then just go into whatever you want to do. Because what I have been doing is I wake up, like on a Friday, or I'll say a Saturday. Like a normal Saturday. I wake up around like 10:30. I'm like fully awake by like 11. I go out and get coffee for me and my fiance. And I come back, eat my lunch thingy I got from Dunkin' or whatever. Drink my coffee. And then I'm like awake by like 12:30. When I'm like my day basically starts at like 12:30. And when you're only awake like 12 hours after that, I would be awake for maybe 13 to 14 hours at most. If I can get like 2 extra hours on top of that, that's pretty big. You know? That's like almost 20% almost. Probably not. Math's probably wrong on that, but yeah, the point is I'm making good progress towards I guess this is actually the first week on that, but waking up a little earlier and actually I wake up and I just immediately start my day. I actually haven't even had any coffee or food today yet, which I don't know if that's wise. I've never been like a huge breakfast person. Like when I was working from home, because I worked from home basically I started working from home like the week COVID started. And that entire time I worked from home for like 3 years, and I had 2 different jobs when I was working from home. Not like I didn't work 2 jobs. I had one job. I started in DevOps, and then I eventually moved to a different job in the same company. Besides the point. But the entire time I was working from home, I would never eat breakfast. I would always just like have a coffee in the morning and just like have a lunch and dinner and maybe snack here and there, but that was about it. So I think the space bar's deep. I think that's a pretty long formed habit that I never really broke. Not that it's a bad one. I just like my body just like still isn't like you need to eat as soon as you wake up. I do sometimes like when I actually I will say now during the week I consider my during the week work schedule and my weekend schedule different because my body just like it's almost like I'm a different person. I'm not a different person, but like my body acts differently during the week and on the weekend. Like at work, I eat breakfast every day, like during the work week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for me. And that's mostly because I just go to Dunkin' every morning, which is bad, and I'm trying to break out of it. But I get like a coffee, and then I get like a breakfast sandwich, and that's how I start my day, and how I've been starting my day for the last 2-3 months. And not the healthiest thing, not the greatest thing, but I will say the job isn't super stressful, but the job is pretty stressful at times. And I need a proper way to ground myself and like a little reward for myself to start the day, because it's not an easy job and it's a little stressful. So that's how I've been allowing myself to continue this. I haven't cold turkeyed myself yet, but I'm getting close to the point where just alone for monetary reasons, like it's like $40 a week, roughly. Not including if I go on the weekends. So I'm gonna try, like, during when I was working from home, we would make cold brews for me, and I would just have cold brews at home every day, and I was happy with that. I loved them. But when I started working at my company now, I tried doing the cold brew thing where I make my cold brew and I bring it in, and it just wasn't like, it was just kind of like gross to me now. I don't know what happened. So I'm gonna give it another shake, and see what happens. Maybe I'm like, I don't know what was going on, but maybe I'm just over cold brew. Maybe I just need to move on to something else. So we'll see on that. A couple things in flight is what's going on. But I did want to say, I am really, and also this is my main. I referenced in yesterday's video, my main that I got to level 250 in like a month and a half. So this is the character I've been playing more recently, but this is not my highest level character or my strongest character. Oh shit, I don't have my link skills on. Yeah, I'll put them on. So I wanted to say thank you for everybody who watched yesterday. I really appreciate all the comments and all the interactions you guys gave. A couple things I actually wanted to bring up that a couple of you guys mentioned. Some of you mentioned like you have your game of obligation, and I can't help but ask, like, are you? I'm starting like Epic 7. One you brought up. I've been so close to dropping that game a couple times now as my game of like my daily game of obligation. I'm just like I'm like pretty burnt on it. I'm pretty burnt out on it, and I'm like strictly playing it just the daily. There's just the bare minimum. I'm not really grinding much. I'm not really investing in new units. So I gotta ask, for somebody who's been playing for 2 years every single day, Alfred in particular, you're the one who commented. How are you feeling? Are you feeling burnt out on it at all? Are you trying to move on soon? I'm very curious to know, because I'm like, especially after doing my Guild War last night, I was ready to quit last night, but I'm not going to. But another thing somebody brought up was what I like, the competitive aspect of the games I play. And a couple things I want to bring up on that. There isn't really a competitive aspect to MapleStory, because that's like the game I play the most right now. There is an event right now where there's kind of like a PvP thing. I forgot to do this. But it's not like fighting other players. It's like PvP. It's like PvP mob killing. Like you're killing mobs and your opponent's killing mobs. Mobs is just like enemies. I don't know if for people who don't know. You're both just kind of killing, I guess, mobs in competition with each other. So that's, I think, the limit of the PvP there. So there isn't really much competitiveness to MapleStory. It's all just like personal gain. Another game one of you guys mentioned Overwatch is like your daily. I played a lot of Overwatch, and I wanted to play more Overwatch. Now that Overwatch 2 is out, I was very competitive with that. I was pretty highly ranked. I think technically top 500 season 1. I loved that game, and I only played Reinhardt for the longest time. The reason I kept sticking with it, I don't know what, like, something just flipped in my brain. Like, after playing in the beta, I was like, I really like this one character, and I'm never gonna play anybody else but him. And I literally I did that for like 150 hours and never played. I didn't have a single second on any other characters. And I don't know, it was a different game just doing that, because the game is like you're supposed to be switching and shit, but yeah, it was just a different game, and I enjoyed that. That definitely kept me. Do I have a delete key on here? Nope. I switched keyboards. My keyboard's smaller, so I'm trying to figure out which abilities I can and can't use. So yeah, I mean, obviously Overwatch in itself is just a competitive game. So there's not really much to say there. I found myself sticking with it longer. One, I was playing with friends at the time, and two, because I was like really motivated to become really good with that one character, and I was doing really good with it too. That was like the highest I've ever been in a game, I think, in a competitive game ever, when Overwatch first launched. Overwatch 2 though, I haven't touched ranked yet, so we'll see if I get time to do that, or if I go to it. Another competitive game I wanted to touch on that I really liked and I was pretty good at was TFT, Teamfight Tactics, a Riot game. And I was thinking about like what I wanted to say about it, because like the game is hard. Like, just like how I said yesterday, MapleStory is a hard sell like to try and convince people to play. TFT is also a hard sell. Like TFT is in the easy, like it's such a like multi-layered like concept, right? So it's like chess, right? It's like chess, but the chess pieces play themselves, but also the chess pieces are League of Legends characters, and if you don't know League of Legends, you won't really know who they are, or you won't know a lot about it. So right off the bat, that's a lot of people that are just never going to be interested in that game. Granted, there is a huge player base for League of Legends and, you know, the Riot ecosystem. That's just a ton of people that are just gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm okay with it. Also, chess is like chess is not everybody's game. A lot of people don't like chess. It's got a high skill ceiling, and it's kind of like some people's brains shut off when they just play chess. You know, like when they try and learn chess. And I don't blame them. I don't really, I know how to play it, but I'm never learned anything basic or any skills in it. So, that's just like the entry level of TFT. Then you go into like the game itself is like a lot of RNG, and to succeed and to be competitive in the game. And I was telling a friend this the other day. You can play whatever you want. You can play however you want, but to do really good in that game, you have to basically just play, like look up the stats, like look up stat trackers of what's really strong in your current patch. And pretty much just the game, at certain points in the game, like you're given certain items, or you're given a choice to pick like a certain ability, right? Or even pick certain units. And to succeed in like, it's basically like random chess, but like you're given random pieces, and you get to build your board out of those random pieces. And certain pieces synergize better with others, and certain pieces have abilities, and you don't get to actually play the board. You're just setting your board, and then your board plays itself against somebody else's board. If that's like the easiest way I can explain TFT. So to do well at that, you basically, and it might sound lame to some people, but like you basically have to look up what's good in the current set. And this is just from my experience at getting to Diamond, in you know, a couple patches or a couple seasons ago. I don't know. You look up what's good, you look up what's bad, you avoid what's bad, and the first thing a lot of people will say about the game is, oh, it's too much RNG. It's like too much RNG. You don't really get to pick the game or play the board you want. A lot of times you can try and force certain things. You can try and pick a certain team you want. You can try and get the unit you want, the certain chess piece you want, and the items you want. But the harder you try and force things against what the game is giving you, the worse you'll do. So the best players and the best way to play the game really is to just lean into what the game is giving you. Whatever random chess piece you got, play it, and then play what's good with it. But also look up, like every time I'm playing the game, I always would look up, like I have the stats pages up next to me while I'm playing, because when I get the choice, you get like a minute or 45 seconds to choose between like 3 items. I'm gonna look up what those 3 items, what their win rates are at the moment, and I'm probably gonna pick the one with the highest win rate almost every single time. And that's just a little, that's like this guy's name, Nussy Wussy. That's like TFT at its core, at the higher levels of play. That's what it is. And the reason I was like so like, the reason I stuck with it so much, I was thinking about this, and I think it was like for 2 main reasons. One, the game, it's very interesting. Like it's, so it does a couple things really well. TFT does, it does the, what's the idea? It's not really like a concept, but it does this thing where, when you get like when a really unlikely thing happens in the game, where like, I'm not gonna sit here and explain every single mechanic, but basically there's a shop that like every single round you get a shop of chess pieces you can buy, and some chess pieces are rarer than others. Like, and it tells you the rarity of the chess pieces and how likely it is that they will show up in your shop. So what TFT does really well, that kind of is like almost addicting, is it creates, it tells you outright that there is this rarity scale, and there's unlikely things to be happening every single round. And when something unlikely happens, you get really excited. Like when a very rare chess piece shows up earlier than it has like a 5% chance of showing up, and it shows up, you're like, oh that felt good. And I think TFT does that. That's like a very basic, fundamental part of the game that like it does well. And I don't know, I got myself like addicted to that. Also with that, I got addicted to, because like I said earlier, you can't pick and choose like basically the team you want to build. You can't really do that every single time. But you could try. And if you try it, like you're basically fighting against the game's RNG, random numbers that it's giving you. And sometimes you just get unlucky and you won't get what you want to get. But if you try and fight against the game, what the game's giving you, and you succeed in doing a team you want to do, kind of like you're not really supposed to play like that. But if you do it, it feels very good. That's actually what I did the one season I got to Diamond. So what I did was, and this is not something you could do every single patch, but I found a composition I really liked. It was based around one unit, and I would just force that composition every single game. And it worked for whatever reason. I was able to climb the Diamond by doing that. Kind of playing the game in the opposite way you're supposed to play it. But it's rewarding because I'm doing that. I'm playing the game the way I want to play it. I'm making it harder for myself, but I'm still able to win by doing that. So it does those things really well. Like again, that fundamental rarity scale is a really cool part of the game. Combined with like the game is really hard to learn at first. I don't think I mentioned that. That was another reason why I stuck with it and why I really liked it. It's really hard to just like, there's so much fundamental like explanation you have to do to like even know how to play to even be able to play the game and not just like lose immediately. It's really hard. So I was like, when I got to the point where I was like, I actually had an idea of what I was doing. I was like, okay, I've come really far from like the first couple times I played. I had no idea what I was doing, and I just like the first few times I played it, I was like, there's no way I'm never gonna be good at this game. This is like too much. And I just stuck with it. Working from home definitely helped with that, because I had some free time here and there, and I would play a lot with my friends, like on lunch. Like I would just play a lot. To quote the famous Skara of former Dignitas, he's really good at TFT. I watch a lot of him, and he's like really highly rated too. And the best tip he gave me that he said on stream one time that really stuck with me and is very, very true. TFT, if you want to be good at it, you have to do two things. You have to watch a lot and you have to play a lot, and that's it. Like you don't have to do anything else except if you do those two things. If you watch a lot of people play and you're actually paying attention, you will pick up on what they're doing, like what makes the game. I'm not even in the right place. You'll pick up on what they're doing that makes sense in the current patch set, and then if you just play a lot, you're gonna refine that, and that's it. Even if you're like consciously like, you know what, I don't really give a shit. I'm just gonna watch and I'm just gonna play. You will improve, and you will get to a point where you'll do decently. Like I'm pretty confident anybody can get to platinum with enough time. Anything higher than plat takes like, you got to be really good though. But I'm pretty confident anybody can get to plat with enough of that mantra. Like if you just watch a lot of pros play, or watch a lot of like really skilled players play, and then just play a lot, you can succeed. So I think that's all I wanted to really say about TFT and competitive games. I think it all comes back to and comes down to that. What keeps me going in competitive games and like what drives me is either one certain character I really like that I will just stick to. This is true in Smash Bros. This is true in any fighting game I play. I usually just pick one character and I like them for their design, or one. It could just be one thing I like about them, and I will just play them to the ground, and that's what keeps me there. Or, the game is really hard and I keep with it, and I just like, I'm really happy with like where I I'm trying to think of what to say. I get to a point where I never thought I can get to in games, and I'm like, damn, this is really cool to be here. And that keeps me around too for a while. Like I want to go back to TFT too. I want to go back to Overwatch as well. Overwatch is definitely harder now because like I don't really play FPSs as much. I get it. TFT, I had that knowledge. I have those fundamentals. I could probably, without any knowledge of this set, literally just start playing and like maybe get 2 gold in like a day. Not even. If I just look up the stats and I just use my fundamentals. Enough about. I think that's enough about TFT and me kind of bragging about it, humble bragging. Am I in the right place? Okay. Okay, yeah. I'm like, I threw myself off there with this daily. We're almost done. We're about to wrap up here. This is I think the last quest I have to do. Maybe we'll see. One last thing that somebody asked about that I wanted to talk about real quick was my favorite NPC in this game. I don't really have a favorite NPC in this game, to be honest. There's a lot of NPCs, but like what this game doesn't really do well is kind of give character to those NPCs. A lot of them are just really, really hardcore NPCs. They have like 2 lines of dialogue and that's it, or they'll give you a quest and that's it. Like, I couldn't even tell you like off of NPC design like what I like, because it's just like the pace of this game and how much you're moving around, how little time you spend in areas, and how little time you spend in towns. These days, I just don't really think about it. But I do have a favorite skin or weapon in this game. If that's it, because I think I believe it was Joel A. had asked if I had a favorite skin or weapon in this game. I do, and it's not on this character. I'll pull it up real quick. Once I'm done my dailies on this character, because I think I'm about to wrap this up. But that's one thing I did maybe a little bit too much in this game, is a lot of the cool cosmetics are locked behind. It's like a paywall. You have to pay money to get a lot like the cool cosmetics, and I definitely paid money in this game, a good amount over the years I've been playing. So I'm not, I don't hide that. It's a game I spend a lot of time in. Let's see, are we done? But I do have some favorite cosmetics. Let's see. We should be done. We don't get a flame stamp because we're already full. Okay, so that's it for the dailies, and that's about it for the video. Oh, wait. Oh, one thing I forgot. I am going to log into my other character real quick just to show you that cosmetic I really like, and then we'll end the video. So, okay, so we're back. This is actually my main character, and this is my favorite cosmetic set. Let me take that off. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. It's like a paladin. Well, it's called a royal guard set, and it just looks like a paladin, like a holy paladin to me. And this character's name is Slim Paladin. So I just think it looks really cool, and I don't know. I really like looking at it. It cost me, some money, but yeah, that's my favorite cosmetics. I have a lot of cosmetics. Like I have Ichigo's blade from Bleach. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna go into that, but I'm gonna cut the video here. Thanks guys for watching. I will see you tomorrow.